When I was in second grade, the second grade teacher, whose name I cannot remember, I don't know why I can't remember it, I remember all my other ones, gave everyone in class a piece of paper, 30 pieces of paper, one per student, that she had randomly scribbled or started a drawing, made marks. One, it had a circle or a triangle and a swoosh and a circle or whatever it was. And I took those, and she said, you have to finish the drawing. You have to make a drawing out of, I started it with these abstract shapes. And now it's your job to finish the drawing. So you can turn the paper around, you can do it on the side. What do you see here? What do you see here? What I see here could be, how do I make another layer? Plus, okay, I could make a Chinaman. I know this is probably non-PC, but there's that triangular hat. And what is the Chinaman doing? He's, what is this going to be? And what's that going to be? He's a circus performer, so he's standing on a ball. And what's this thing? What's that going to be? He's upset because his pet snake is not doing what it wants to do, what he wants it to do. I don't know what I would draw, but this is sort of how it works. So that's a result of this random thing. We can also pick a different result. Here's a river. Here's a big city in the background. Maybe that's the Wizard of Oz. Here's the yellow brick road. Here's the Cowardly Lion. His tail, whiskers, his little ears. Oh, Dorothy. And here's the Tin Man with his little spout going off that way. His nose and his rivets. And then way up here is the Scarecrow and Dorothy and the little dog. And up here is the Wicked Witch of the West. Surrender, Dorothy. So anyway, this is how it works. You start with this scribble, random scribble, and it's up to you to come up with the drawing. So I've been playing this ever since the second grade using pieces of paper. Sitting at a bar, drawing, and someone says, what are you drawing? Oh, I'm just doodling. And then I'll say, well, I've got a game we can play. And then I do this game and we all have fun. Everyone has fun. Everyone's having fun. Well, during a part of my life where I wasn't having very much fun, I had my iPad. My iPad was kind of new to me at that time. I gave myself these challenge drawings every morning just to have when I'm having coffee. And I would, just to get my brain going, just to see what would happen. And I did these for about a month. and I would post them on the app that I'm using, which is called Sketch Club, and I would show the results of each day's challenge. Sometimes I'd have 1 or 2 results. Sometimes it might be 20. I kept on just coming up with different ways to make it go. And I would usually, or I began very quickly, coming up with a funny caption, a descriptive caption that could go underneath them. So, they're not as funny as a New Yorker cartoon. Well, some of them might be, but they weren't meant necessarily to be as funny as a New Yorker cartoon. The charm of the whole process was that I was able to do a bunch of different different drawings based on the same starting point. So for this particular one here, let me just delete that layer. How do I make it clear, 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 clear? Okay, let's go to this one. This is one I had actually used in the book that I'm going to show you in a second. This is a recent one. Many of the ones that are in this book, Prompts for My Muse by Pierre Gustafson, were ones that I did maybe 8 years ago, 9 years ago, whenever I started doing them on my iPad. And when I thought about compiling them into this book, I thought, well, to get back into the swing of things, let me do some new ones. So this was one that was done last year, or sometime in the past year. So I did a thing and a thing and a dot and a squirrel and a thing. So what could this be? Well, here was one result. So you can see, let me hold it up and try to show you the original. So you see here, the original lines are an integral part of the drawing. And the drawing, what is the drawing of? Well, it's the drawing of this, beefcake at the beach, flexing his muscles for the dame. I guess it's a dame, could be a guy. So that's what that is. So, but that's not the only result I had for this one. I also had that result. So here, what is this? You ask. Let me just show you again the original lines. So the result is, what am I drawing here? These are ionic columns on a temple. You're looking up at the depiction of a mermaid sort of creature with a navel and some boobies and some of the scaly fin on the end of it. Now, did I come up with a caption for that? I don't know. Okay, here's this one. So here I had to turn, to make it work, I had to turn this upside down. So here is this one, and here's how I made this one work. Oh, I remember this one. So here's a woman, and she's wearing her Easter bonnet for the Easter parade down Fifth Avenue. And she, had to actually put because it was a windy day on Fifth Avenue that day, so she actually used the hat pin, had to go right into her skull. She had to just pound it in with a hammer into her skull to keep the hat in place. And what is the hat? Well, the hat for Easter, it shows the crucifixion on the Mount of whatever it is. Not Mount of Olives, the other one, Calgary. So there's her God and the good thief and the bad thief, and that's her walking down Fifth Avenue. And I think I did come up with a caption for this one, but you'll have to buy my book to find that one. Okay, here's another one. Let's turn it back to the original again. And what is this one going to be? Well, this one is, these are bats coming out of Old North Church in Boston. And the swoosh of their flight is the swirl, and then the bats. And I don't know what, there was a dot here. I guess that was the head of this bat. And the caption for this was, "The bats swirling around the belfry obscured Paul Revere's view of the signal. Was it 1 if by land, 2 if by sea, or 3 if by Uber?" So that was, he couldn't tell because of the bats. Okay, now we go to another one. Again, turning it upside down. We've got this dame in her dress. And I think the caption for this one had something to do with her movie career ended the minute she showed up at the Oscars wearing this awful dress, or something like that. It might have been cleverer. I mean, it's hard not to imagine something cleverer. Here's something kind of morbid. The lower leg, still shod, was discovered in the wood chipper. So there's the 2 bones of your lower leg and the hairy calf and the shoes with the laces. This one, here's another bodybuilder on the beach. This one is in the book. Okay, where did this one go? Come on. Actually, I think this is it's the same one that I showed you before, but I drew it differently. This is in the book, I think. This guy, this little boy, is just got back from Egypt and is training his dog to be a camel. Again, they all had the same start. This Texan's 10-gallon hat pumped 20 gallons of crude oil on the hour. So there's his oil well on the top of his hat, his cowboy hat. Here's a conductor in the orchestra. So here's, some bass cello with his music. But all these started with the same beginning. So let me show you where that is in the book. So this is, I put together a 150-page book or so that has these drawings in it. Most were done maybe 8 years ago, and then some were done in the last year. So this is the one that I just showed you. A dot, a curl, and 3 lines can become, here's the bats And under each drawing, I remind you what the original drawing was and whether it was rotated. So you have a little footnote down here. The flying bats obscured Paul Revere's view of the signal in the belfry. He couldn't see whether it was 1 if by land, 2 if by sea, or 3 if by Uber. And I also did the lettering. I had a really hard time with my publisher, and this is self-published, with the people that press the button. I said, I just want you to do it how I gave it to you. Well, we can't sell it to you if we don't. I said, just treat each page like it's a drawing. Because I did try typesetting this and it looked awful. It looked awful. Because your eye went right to didn't look at the drawing. I wanted you to see the entire page at the same time, treated the same way. Here's the lady. Here's the man, their hats. Here's that lady. We saw that one. We didn't see this one. This is the HMS Nonchalant clove through the Henley with nary a care. So the Henley boat race. Sometimes you have to know things that most American children might not know. Here's this one again. The carved figures of the Temple of Poseidon helped keep the Greek navy full of volunteers. Because the Greeks thought, well, I'm going to see some mermaids, so let's join the navy. This one is my favorite of them. The pince nez on the rather big nose. Even before he could see or hear them, the librarian smelled them talking aloud. So anyway, that's the book. So if you want to buy one of these, I'll sell one to you. $15 plus postage, whatever that's going to be. If I send it to Aberdeen, Scotland, it's about $25. So, and I need to send a book to that guy. And he said he still wants it, but what he wanted me to do is come up with some original drawings. He was going to give me $100 or $150, and I would send him drawings and this book. And I haven't done it yet because I was on vacation and then I was dealing with other things. But right here on this page, that is where I will inscribe it to you if you want it. If you don't want it inscribed, I don't have to. Or I can just autograph it. If you want to give it as a gift, you can say just sign your name and I'll put my name there. So this was, to the best of my recollection, this is what was given to me by my teacher in 2nd grade. Of course, she didn't give it to me on an iPad, so I couldn't go back to layers and find out what it originally was like I'm able to now. But I did turn it into this. And my mommy kept it. So ta-da. But it's a lot of fun. It is. Why are there so many blank pages back here? Was that part of the plan? I don't think. I just ordered some more of these and I don't remember them having a bunch of blank pages in the back. See this one? This became this drawing I did of Lindsay Rand. Lindsay Rand? Is that his name? No, Lindsay Rand is a pen collector. That's who I bought this pen from. Lindsay Graham. Here's Lindsay Graham taking flowers off the school massacre memorials to decorate his office in Washington. But this drawing also ended up being the cover of the book. Ta-da. So if you want one of these sent directly to you, once I get my act together and put on my shoes and go to the post office and send it to you, send me an email and I'll tell you how you can pay me. And I'll send you a book, an autographed book, $15. Bye.